My 60-year-old dad went on a 4-month bender with a colleague from work. Now his life is pretty much over.
Mr. Reddit.
My 60-year-old dad went on a 4-month bender with a colleague from work. My mom, 58, found out randomly this Friday, but she had suspicions of an affair. She told me today as I was on a holiday. Turns out he was doing a lot of shit with her. Sometimes we think with multiple women. She'll take everything and she earns 10x more than him anyways. She told their friends, and his mom, my grandma. He's a very fun guy to be around and has a golden retriever energy. He was a very decent guy until this thing. Loved by many. We knew he was flirtatious, but nothing like this would cross our minds. I too felt he was acting strange for the past 2 to 3 months, even through WhatsApp and FaceTime. His life has now drastically changed. I just sent him a final voicemail saying he needs to accept this turn of events and focus on the next week, month, and year and build a new life. And marry his GF. I just can't fathom how someone would destroy their lives like this. At the age of fucking 60. When they had everything, when you had a wife who would say nothing even when she was supporting you for years. Insane turn of events. Ick if I can say goodbye to him. Maybe I'll meet with him once every 6 months if he picks up his life. Edit. My mom's calming down as she told me in mail today after bottling up for 2 days. The die is cast. Apparently he's now with his sister in BIL, and my grandma will be with them too come morning. 2 of his closest male friends from their circle, while disgusted and a bit distant, as far as I know, are guiding him. He is fully cooperative with the divorce. I will talk to him after the papers are signed to let him know where we stand and ask him to get a checkup. Now his life is pretty much over. I think my mom will be okay, and my dad will not hurt himself. My 83-year-old grandma is now calm too, I think. Thank you everyone for pitching in. And edit 2. The divorce protocol is also complete. He will claim nothing apart from some secrecy clauses to protect the family of his GF and his reputation. Apparently this is not just a fling, and I feel like he will be happy in due time, maybe sooner than we imagine. It looks like everyone will be able to move on, which is for the best. Today's divorce discussions have decreased my respect for him, as well as my negative feelings, and I feel ready to move on without his immediate presence. We'll establish a contact, but yeah, that's it I guess. We'll now mute the thread.
TW for mentions of child abuse. I grew up in an abusive household. I was the black sheep of the family, and from a very young age I knew that my parents saw me differently from my sister. My sister was spoiled in comparison. Every single bad thing that happened in that house was always my fault in my parents' eyes. My father would constantly tell me out of the blue how much happier he'd be if he didn't have kids, how I make his life miserable, that I am a literal demon and not human, and all the ways he wanted to physically hurt me. That's not even the half of it. He would beat me to the point I couldn't walk properly, but it wasn't as common as the emotional abuse. My mother on the other hand just watched and would pretend like nothing happened. Anyway, a few months ago I was feeling very lost in my life. I have a lot of mental health issues from the childhood trauma and didn't know what to do with myself. I decided to call my aunt who has lived overseas for almost 30 years now. I asked her how she managed to move abroad and she said in her words, "I didn't plan it, the plane tickets didn't belong to me. They were your father's tickets, but you should ask him why he didn't go. It's a funny story." My heart dropped immediately. It's like a lifetime of mystery suddenly made sense. My aunt has lived overseas for almost the same amount of time I've been alive. My father has wanted to live abroad for his whole life. My mother was super religious at the time, so an abortion would have been out of the question for her. So currently, I believe I was conceived out of wedlock, and that my father hasn't been able to move because of me. My parents were always suspiciously adamant that I wasn't a mistake. Completely out the blue they would say how I was an intentional choice, definitely not a mistake on their part, even when extended family would always look at me differently than they did my sister. Literally everything makes sense. Why my parents were never really affectionate with each other. Why when I was 8 years old, asked my mother how my father proposed and she said it was an agreement. The way my father would call me a mistake all the time in primary school. Why he always blamed every single wrong thing that happened to him on me. It all makes sense. I don't know whether I should laugh or cry. My whole life, from as long as I can remember, believed that I was literally subhuman. I thought that there was something bad/wrong about me fundamentally, like I was born broken, or a mistake or something. I'd work extra hard at school and always had the highest grades. I tried hard to always be polite. Always be respectful, never talk out of turn, didn't do drugs, etc. I tried so damn hard to be someone worth loving and I always failed. Thinking back on my mental health problems now is crazy. I struggle with personal hygiene and cleanliness, and overly clean spaces scare me. I realize that comes from the neglect. I still only have one pair of shoes from 3 years ago because deep down I don't think I deserve nice things. I haven't had new clothes in probably 15 years because of this mindset I've been trained to have. I bought one jacket yesterday and instantly started dissociating at the mall. Doing anything at all that relates to taking care of myself fills me with anxiety. I wish little me knew that it was never her. That she is perfectly normal little girl and that she deserved better.
Do I tell my husband? A little over a year ago I reconnected with an old college friend online. As we caught up I recognized old feelings that I once had for him start coming back up. We spent about a week and a half emailing/talking on the phone, nothing sexual, but very emotionally intimate. It came to a point where we both acknowledged what was happening and decided to cut contact with each other since we are both married and didn't want to hurt our families. I thought about telling my husband, but right after this happened we ran into serious problems with one of our kids. The issue took a huge emotional toll on my husband and his mental health took a dive. I decided not to tell him because I couldn't bear the thought of causing him more grief and pain. Now it's a year later and our kid is in a good place and so is my husband. So do I come clean and tell him what happened? Or do I just leave it alone and let him be happy? I don't know what the right thing to do is.
I'm so tired of living the perfect life. I want out. I'm a 24-year-old who hasn't taken any risks in life. I chose the safe and boring route that any parent would dream of their child following: no drinking, no partying, no relationships, getting a bachelor's degree in software engineering, etc. I spent most of my time behind a screen, either studying or playing video games. I barely socialized apart from playing games with my like-minded friends online. Even though in the eyes of others I look put together and am on a path toward success, I deeply regret going down this path. I feel like I have no personality. I'm just a fraud who looks ambitious and career-driven when deep down I want to party, have fun, and meet new people. I want to be stupid and make mistakes. I want to do and experience crazy things that I can tell people about in the future. I want to get a tattoo that I'll regret when I'm old. I don't want to live this stagnant life anymore. Lately, I've made considerable progress in becoming the person I wish to be, but in a lot of aspects, I feel like I missed the train. I don't want to be the older guy who's adamant about holding on to the party life, even though mine didn't exist, when other people my age have had enough of that part of themselves and want to settle. I feel silly for wanting to make teenage mistakes at 24 years old. I missed out on a lot of important milestones in life with no possibility of a second chance of reaching them. I'm so lost.
My GF broke up with me after 10 years. Yeah. I wanted to add to the title I feel. But I actually feel nothing, just emptiness and lost. Me and my GF met when we both were 20 in the military service. We were both each other's first serious relationship too. We both came from broken families. She has a pervert father and careless mother and my parents have drug issues. We found a lot of comfort in each other. We quickly moved in together and always helped each other fight depression, which we had a lot. I wasn't the perfect partner. I had shitty childhood which turned me really introvert and developed social anxiety. I liked to be alone a lot and just sit in front of my PC most of the day, which caused her to feel alone many times. After few years we done serving in army, she decided to start college and I decided to keep working and support both of us financially. Under the college pressure she realized she has some serious post-trauma from her parents and she struggled for like 6 years fighting college and mental health together. After that she decided to quit college and focus on herself more, which helped her a lot. She got professional help and also knew friends with similar past and she became much more alive, but she also started to be more cold to me, focused purely on herself. Meanwhile I got much better too. I found a good job and I felt less addicted to my PC. I thought we are going into bright future. I felt ready to make my own family and was about to ask her to marry me soon. Yes, I know I should have asked her years ago, but I wasn't mentally stable enough, and scared I will ruin my family like my parents did. I guess she never forgave me for the years I ignored her, and that I didn't want to marry earlier. This month we also had big 2 arguments. We usually barely fight unless I'm sitting with myself too much, but I wasn't worried because usually we talk and find a solution, except this time she just wanted to stop talking about it. Today she just told me that she decided to give up and it's over and she doesn't love me romantically for a few months already. I just froze, then cried, then begged. But for nothing, I barely remember myself without her. I feel so scared and stressed. We have been through so much shit together, it feels part of myself is leaving. We both grew up together and much more alive now. I thought the best part of our relationship is ahead of us and I feel like I have so much more to give, but I guess I missed my train. All I can do now is just wish her and myself best of luck in our new chapter.
I feel so much more at peace when not trying to attract a partner, and I might give up. I am a young man who has struggled all my life to attract a partner. I have always been a romantic failure and never had a girlfriend. I spend an inordinate amount of time trying to improve myself to find and be desirable for a partner, from dressing well, to working out, to cultivating hobbies like photography, though this is not the only reason I spend time on these things, but it's a major incentive, and it consumes so much of my mental energy. I have judged myself on my inability to attract women for so long. I think I'm just going to give up and not try to attract a partner. I feel so much more at peace mentally when not constantly concerned about attracting women and being attractive to women and fretting over am I good enough for women. It torments me how much of a romantic failure I am, and I find that I am much more productive when I just don't concern myself with dating and concentrate on things I enjoy like hiking, cooking, or listening to uplifting music, other than love and romance. Thanks for listening. Edit. I will continue to improve myself until I find a partner. Quitting isn't an option, and I won't stop until I am the best version of myself. I know I can do it.
Update on: I had a huge fight with my mother because I wouldn't forgive my predatory uncle. Hello everyone, it has been a while since my original post. I would like to thank you for your support. I made the original post because I felt really hurt and betrayed. I didn't tell anyone before other than my mother. Seeing your comments gave me a huge courage to speak up. I told my dad about everything. I was begging him not to do anything that will get him in trouble. The first reaction of my dad was a pure anger. He told me why I didn't tell him? How he is supposed to forgive himself after knowing that he didn't protect me? I never saw my dad cry before, but seeing his tears just broke my heart. He took me to the house and he was literally screaming at my mother's face. She admitted everything and didn't lie. He told her that he doesn't want to see her face again. She left the house and went to my grandmother's house. My dad told me that we will go to the police next day. We talked all the night. It was the hardest night of my life. Opening up to my dad and explaining to him everything is just hard. He would have a moments where he said he will kill my uncle, and I just broke down in tears in front of him. He promised me that he will not do anything to him. I had work at the morning while I didn't sleep the night before. I called my co-workers to switch the shift with me, but they didn't accept. While I'm at work stressing out, my mother called me and she was screaming, saying my dad went to my uncle's house and my uncle was severely beaten by my dad. She told me that I'm the reason that our family fell apart. I should live an unhappy life. It was like hell. I was sleep deprived and my panic attacks were out of control. All the family members knew. Everyone is calling asking me the same questions over and over again. Being reminded of those memories in every second is just unbearable.
Thank you all for watching. If you are interested, subscribe and watch other videos.